What's going on, everybody? My name is Captain Jack. I'm one of the Minecrafters, and in this video, we are going to be talking about a really awesome mod pack called Project Architect 2 by Chosen Architect. Now, this is going to be a little bit of a different video than what you may be used to from us, in that the main reason why this video is even being uploaded in the first place is simply because we had such a great time playing this pack. It was phenomenal, and it was a real throwback to some of the packs that we played, basically our first experiences in Minecraft. So if you're a little bit of an old school player and you started out on packs like Tech It Classic, Tech It Light, stuff like that, you are going to find that this is a really refreshing, throwback, nostalgic experience to those days of Minecraft. Now, the thing that really made it nostalgic for me in particular, and for really us as a group here, is the fact that Project E is in this pack, which basically assigns an EMC value to a good number of items in the game. And that they have been heavily edited by Chosen, which is great because he really made some great additions, right? So all of your different colors of cabling from Applied Energistics are all EMCable, so you don't have to do all that crafting. But Project E adds really old school stuff in, like red matter, dark matter, red matter furnaces, energy collectors, stuff like that. And the point of the pack basically is to progress through a series of higher and higher valued EMC items. And it's just was a really great experience to kind of do all that stuff over again. Let's go ahead and take a look inside. We got our reception area here, the obligatory boardroom, which is an essential feature of all Captain corporations. Never gets used, but there it is anyways. We got Captain's kitchen here. Went a little bit overboard with the orange theme in this base, and that was primarily because when I found out there was Draconic Evolution in the pack, I was like, oh, yes, I'm going to make my whole base match the color of this energy orb, which is orange. Well, fun fact that you can now actually edit the color of this thing. And so, by the time I realized that, I was in way too deep and just kind of stuck with the orange theme. Up here, this is this looks so much different than what it started as, but this is kind of the final iteration of this base here. We have my Draconic Evolution. That's the manual crafting. Some little bedrooms over here. On the other side, we kind of have the same thing, but in this side is my enchanting setup. It's kind of been torn apart and repurposed. Library of Alexandria there. Super awesome block. But let's go ahead and let's go all the way, almost all the way to the bottom. Down, 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 and start down here, and we'll do a quick walkthrough of the base while I kind of talk through some other stuff about the pack. So down here is where I had Mob Farm and Nether Star production, also Ether Gas production in there, which has since been changed to a creative chemical tank. But I found that this was actually a way better solution for Nether Stars than Industrial Foregoing, because you could simply feed it carrots, which is everything's turned off here, and then have them all be generated by power flowers. So that was a really easy way to get Nether Stars. Here's a mob farm over here. Everything's kind of off right now. The MC situation kind of got a little bit harsh on the server towards the end, but there's a couple little mob farms going here. Bottom level, for the most part, we got my SPS, and there's really no rhyme or reason to the order of this. Basically, I just dug a huge hole and started making rooms on the side. So down here, I kind of have a little command center with a bunch of, high value items in my ME. Delete this. There's all this stuff in here. Got a lot of juice in there. This is a fun little project that I had infinite DT fuel because you get to creative. So kind of powered up a few mechanism reactors to make myself, a little extra energy, because you can't ever have enough, really. Set up here, kind of an atrium style with a viewing area that you can look outside underwater. Kind of always wanted to do this. Really poor choice building on an island, because every time you dig down, you end up hitting water. So that was a fun time. But yeah, that's really all that's going on down here. In the back here is something that I was experimenting with the mycelial generator. And this single block here can put out 25 million RF per tick if you have all of these other generators up and running, which in a mod pack where a lot of items are EMCable, this is such a viable energy source, because it really is super easy. There's only a few things that you have to automate that are a little bit outside the norm. And I kind of want to just shout out to Chosen's Let's Play series. I quite frankly have learned so much from watching the series about this mod pack, and I really don't watch people's let's plays because generally they're kind of terrible. But I was looking for some videos on how to do some things. Here's my mechanism set up, my um, whatever this is, thermal over here. So yeah, I was looking for videos on how to do some stuff, and I stumbled on his Let's Play. And what I found was that his Let's Plays are so informational. They're almost tutorials in themselves, right? He takes a lot of care in describing what he's doing, why he's doing it. He deliberately chooses to use things that are unconventional. So a lot of us, or maybe I'm just speaking for myself, I kind of get stuck in the habit of doing the same stuff all the time, using the same machines, mod packs to accomplish the same goals. But he really switches it up and he really tells you, and it's a learning experience. So highly recommend that. You should go check out his videos. They're definitely worth a watch, even if you don't care about the mod pack. I guarantee you're going to learn something from it. This is where I had my little final star shards automated here. Recipes just hooked up to dump 64, blow them up, and away it goes. It's pretty end game there. This is my final star creation room. At the end, I kind of started slapping stuff everywhere, but this is what's generating the 1.8 trillion EMC per tick. Up there, a little bit of a mess back here, but this is where I was making I think it was called Nitro Experience or something, to make these stars. So that's what was going on there. Here, ARS enchanting. So I had a lot of infrastructure set up, very temporary for Ars Novu. I don't even know if that's how you say it. And then I tore it all down because I basically just made enough of what I would need to make to get by and took it all down. I'm not a fan of magic mods, as anybody who talks to me about Minecraft will know. This is where I was making those wands, precision mechanisms, and I just want to point out while I'm in here too, um, in this mod pack, I chose to compartmentalize a lot of my setup. So you can see this is just an entire subnet here hooked up to my main network up there, right? And so it's having EMC or having all your items stored as EMC or a good portion of them anyways creates an odd problem because you can't just infinitely, export stuff out of your system because in theory you will run out of EMC. So what I did was I kind of made each room its own separate little thing. So in here, this is where I was making, I don't know, some of the archulation, or I forget what the block was, architrons, right? So this is where I was making all these items. And it was requiring me to make a lot of these draconic cores, chaotic cores, all this. So in here is just basically another subnet. And I use these things called drawer iron downgrades, which I didn't know existed until I think I watched Chosen series. And I use those to basically regulate the amount of all this stuff that I would have at any given time in the system. So everything is kind of a closed little system, and then I would have access to it on the main network using storage buses and stuff like that. So maybe it wasn't necessary, but it was just a way that I found worked well for this pack. All right, so let's go down another level here. All right, so down here we have ingot production. And so I have these EMC links dumping items into enriching factories, smelting factories, right? Don't really need to bother with any sort of 2x, 3x, 4x processing if you don't want to, or anything beyond 2x really, because you have essentially infinite of the raw versions of these things by midway through the pack. So really no reason to set up anything super complicated, but this is set up this way because I could not just infinitely pump out the raw ores into my machines, because in theory you would run out of EMC or just expend too much. So I kind of had them be put into drawers, and I regulated them using just very, very slow machines, right? So this is just going slow, but it's still making them over time. And I regulated them, I increased to decrease the volume of my ingots as needed throughout my playthrough here. Fizzle fuel production here. Again, shout out to Chosen. He really made this simple. He gave you the bare minimum amount of machines that you needed to make fizzle fuel. In here, we have polonium, plutonium production. There used to be a hole in the ceiling where I would get my solar energy. I didn't have it set up in another dimension. This worked fine. And then on the other side over here, we have my HDPE pellets. Hot mess behind that wall. This is a really ugly room. I never actually finished it. Some plastic production. This is all my industrial foregoing stuff. Also, huge shout out to the add-on speed, efficiency, and the processing tier 4s that Chosen added into the pack to make these machines much faster. Excellent, excellent addition. Before I forget too, he also made it so that you can put facades over piping from Mechanism and the Pipes mod by using framed blocks, which is like the best thing ever for somebody that loves building and loves kind of keeping things neat and tight. So that's pretty much it for the guts of my base. Again, we're not really going into too much detail. Just kind of want to talk about the pack, show you around, see what's going on. But yeah, this is inside of the Captain Corp. Now we are going to descend to the basement, where we have nothing but a giant unfinished hallway that kind of looks like the Mines of Moria down here, with a room that started but was not finished. So let me tell you why it is not done. When we started playing this pack, essentially feeling creative was the end of the pack, right? So I got up to this far. I made the Tome of Knowledge, which gives you access to all the MCable items in the whole game, and it was so satisfying. It was great putting all this stuff together, and I got the book, and I was like, wow, what a great pack. Didn't take that long. Probably zerged it a little bit, but really, really great feeling. And then afterwards, there was an update that added endgame objectives and quests in here. And I got to be honest with you, not a huge fan, right? The end game stuff is essentially you're just making a lot of these different items, right? Awakened Draconian block times 6, enchanting blocks, blocks of experience times 6, lapis times 9. And it just got to be way, way too grindy. I just could not bring myself to continue down this path. And essentially, the end game is basically just these bins that will give you access to infinite non-EMCable items. And I really felt like this was so well thought through. So many different aspects of the game, so many objectives, especially this adventure bound objective. Like you're doing all this crazy stuff, and then you get to the end game, and it's just like, okay, let's just make 1,000 dragon heads, right? Just didn't really like the feeling of this part of the pack. Now, anybody can be critical. Anybody can just be, an armchair quarterback and say, rah, rah, rah. The pack is great, right? I'm going to play the pack again. In fact, I've already started another little casual second playthrough of it. But this was going to be my area for this last part, of the quest line here. And I just couldn't do it. So this is going to be for some people. It's not going to be for others. Getting to this point, if you can get here and make that your objective, if you're a casual player and don't maybe have a lot of time to play, but still want a challenge, great feeling getting to this. Really, really great. Awesome unlocking the creative blocks and actually using those creative blocks to get other creative blocks was really ingenious. Really loved it. But again, very, very, very grindy towards the last part of this pack. So alas, this hallway will sit empty for all of eternity after this server goes into the garbage can. All right, and that, my friends, is going to be it for this video. If you want to get a hold of us, right? We don't make a lot of content these days. It's very sporadic, very infrequent. But if you want to get a hold of us, talk to us, join our little community, hang out, do whatever, join our Discord, right? You can chat anytime if you have questions. People pop in, ask questions randomly every once in a while. We're a very, very small community, right? But there's a few of us that have been together for a really long time. We generally enjoy each other's company, don't drive each other insane, and like to hang out. So join the Discord if you have any questions. Like I said before, I'm going to post the Let's Play series that Chosen did in the video description below. Hope you guys play this pack, and I hope you enjoy it as much as we did. Again, something super, super simple, but has really neat quest lines, really friendly towards those of you who just want to build stuff. Oh, this is a cool view. I never looked at this before. But yeah, hope you enjoy the pack. And that's going to be it. So Captain Jack out. And as always, everybody, stay poised.